Hey family, Dad here. Hope you're having a great day. On this video, I just wanted to share, my experiences teaching my kids how to drive and what to expect with kids as they start to drive. Now, with a little background into my life, I'm a 47-year-old dad. I have two kids. I have a 20-year-old and 18-year-old, and I've had them. I ended up getting them full-time in 2019. Both of them are in college now and out of the house, but I wanted to share my experiences on when I was teaching them how to drive. Now, when the kids were 15, obviously they were eligible to get their learner's permit, which they did, and they were able to take driver's education. They were both very green at the beginning, literally like kindergarten. And I literally had to explain to them and show everything in simple terms. Like, for example, when they get in the car, this is how you start the engine. This is the brake pedal, press on it. This is the gas pedal. This is the left turn signal. This is the right turn signal. Get them to experience it while they're behind the driver's seat. That was really my first thing that I had to do. So, yeah, that was one thing, is just explain everything in simple terms. One thing that I do encourage is driver's ed. My kids took it when they were 15 years old. It's not cheap, but it's worth it. Us as adults, I'm a 47-year-old. I took driver's ed 30 plus years ago, but I also developed some bad habits. And that's one thing you want to avoid, especially with new drivers. And so going to driver's ed is definitely going to help them learn to be a safe driver behind the wheel. And also, you're eligible to get a discount on your auto insurance. Auto insurance is going to go up once your kid gets a driver's license. It's crazy how much auto insurance goes up, but every little penny helps, every little discount helps. So having having your kids take driver's ed helps, and then B, getting great grades as well really helps get a discount on auto insurance. So one of the first things I believe when teaching my kids driving is you got to have patience but discipline. The requirements to test for a driver's license, you're required to have approximately 50 hours of drive time. That's a lot, but it's worth it. You got to get behind the wheel. You got to have your kid behind the wheel, and you got to be right next to your kid on showing them the ropes. What we did was we started driving early morning on the weekends around the mall. We have a mall about 1.5 miles away from our house. And my kids, we would go Saturday or Sunday morning, 7, 8 o'clock in the morning when no one's at the mall, and we would drive around for a half hour. That's how we would start, is just we would learn how to drive, get familiar behind the wheel, learning how to turn the steering wheel, how hard you got to press on the gas pedal, how hard you got to press on the brake pedal, signaling, all that stuff, which really worked well, especially in a slower environment like driving around the mall. And then eventually we would start, move to city streets and the freeways. But that was what we did first. And you have to be consistent. We did it 1-2 times during the week, and then we would do the long drive during the weekends. So like I said, we started first at the mall during the weekends, and we would go for like an hour at the very beginning, and then gradually move to the city streets and the freeways. And, we would do 1-2 days during the week, and then our long drive during the weekends. And both my kids passed their driver's test on the first try. My son actually scored better than my daughter, which was surprising. So once they were official getting their driver's license, I sat down with them and stressed the importance of safe driving. We laid down the ground rules. No phones, no texting, no alcohol or drugs. I gave them a hard warning on that. I have zero tolerance for that kind of stuff. You get a ticket, you get suspended by me from driving the vehicle. Kids get a ticket, insurance rates go up like crazy. And I told my kids that if they get a ticket or if they get an at-fault accident, that they'll be walking. And that really hit them hard, and they'd made sure that they would minimize any kind of distractions. When kids drive, they tear the shit out of the cars. My advice is get cheap used cars. Fortunately, I had 2 cars that were paid off. I had a 2010 Prius and I have a 2018 Sentra. The kids tear the shit out of them. My daughter, she dented the left rear door of the Prius as she was backing out of the garage. She scraped against the garbage can, and the other one, dented the right front bumper of the Nissan Sentra a few years ago. I think it happened in high school, but he denied it. But I suspect that's what happened. So once again, get cheap used cars. Kids are going to tear the shit out of it. Eventually, I'll get it repaired, but I'm in no hurry because I know that kids are going to tear it up. Another key experience that I learned was, you shop around for auto insurance. Get high limits for liability and property. Teenagers are high risk for accidents. Don't be underinsured. I've heard some stories where families were underinsured for their auto insurance policy and they got sued. I pay roughly $2,400 a year for auto insurance, 2 kids and myself, and I have high liability limits. I think the state minimums here in Washington are $25,000, $50,000, $10,000. I have $250,000, $500,000, $250,000, $100,000 liability limits and $1,000 deductible. Fortunately, I've had no accidents. Knock on wood. My son did have one minor accident about a year ago, but it was no fault of his own. Talk to their kids about emergency situations. Accidents, flat tires, what to do. One good source is YouTube. You can always search on YouTube for how to fix a flat tire, what to do during an accident. Great resource. My kids watched several videos. And they've been in accidents before. Like I said, my son was in a no-fault accident of his own, and he was able to, handle it pretty cool, pretty calm. He did call me, and I walked him through it, but I was proud of how he handled the whole situation. So in a nutshell, be very simple. Dumb it down for the kids when they're starting to drive. Be with them a lot when you're teaching them. Show them the ropes. Proper safe driving habits, all that kind of stuff. When they get their driver's license, lay down the ground rules. Get a cheap used car. Shop around for auto insurance. And lastly, talk about emergencies. That's all I got. Tell me your thoughts. Leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Again, these are my perspectives and views. I'm not a certified professional. I'm just a dad. So stay safe, stay positive, and be happy. Love you, Dad.